Okay. Yeah, some nights the game is really cruel. Hard to think you can lose a game like that. So we make a big mistake on the first goal. We cross from literally the touchline. It's a ball that Danilo should see in flight and deal with. So big mistake. But we keep pushing in the game. We get the 1-1. We get the 2-1. The thing that's hurt us more than anything, it's not that all of a sudden the game changes. It's just that at 2-1, our ability to really get control and finish the game, that's certainly been the number one thing that's haunted us all year. But the next two are crazy. I mean, they get in the box one time, we don't clear a ball great, and it's an incredible finish by Kralik. And then they get in the box one more time, and Savarino's trying to cross it, and then hits Walker and goes in. So some nights, 3 shots, 3 goals. I think they had 4 shots total. So, it's that part of football. Some nights is awfully hard to figure out. On our end, playoff games are intense. So in the midst of the intensity, you've got to also find ways to shift down and make good football plays. And I think we did okay at that. But certainly now we have some good chances to still finish, even at 3-2. We have some good chances. So the game comes down to those kind of little things. The football that we try to play, I've said over and over, we believe in it. It's not a one-year project. It's a project to continue to have a way of playing and an identity and a philosophy that we believe in, that produces good football, that can win. We're all disappointed to see this season end because we still felt that we were a team capable at the end of the year of going far in the playoffs and winning MLS Cup. So that hurts a lot.
Bob, is it too soon to kind of put this entire season in perspective and what you guys have been able to accomplish? And second question, what does this playoff experience do for you now going forward into next year and beyond?
Yeah, it is too soon, but what I said a second ago is that the vision of this club in terms of what kind of football we wanted to play, the connection with our supporters, feeling that we could build something special with the stadium, with our training facility, with the energy and the diversity in the city. That part's awesome. And so that doesn't change one thing. This season we had enough moments of really good football that I think the vision of what we want to be can be achieved. But to really get to where, I say every night, that part of controlling games, when a team like Salt Lake comes in tonight and listen, they got this second chance to be in the playoffs, and now they come in and they're going to fight and scrap on every play. And so the ability in those kind of games to still be so sharp, so good with the ball, so good with your decisions. So, that's Barcelona. So we're not Barcelona yet, but we're having a great time trying, and that part's not changing as long as I'm around. So, the first season, I'm not going to, I haven't one time said for a first-year team, that's all bullshit. So, I think we were a good team. I think that the idea of what we want to be is fantastic. I think we're going to continue. A lot of guys got better this year. We're going to keep trying to develop players. We have to think through now how we can make an even better roster and all these kind of things. That's now the work that starts maybe in half an hour or maybe tomorrow, I'm not sure.
Bob, one of the things that you've talked about a lot this year is you want your team to be able to, in the game, recognize what kind of game is in front of them. When RSL came out and they were clearly going to clog the middle of the pitch, did you feel like your team eventually got the gist of what was going on, and can you assess kind of how they did that?
Yeah, we figured that out. But look, when a team tries to clog the middle, it doesn't mean you don't play passes. You know, you play good passes. And then when they get a little tighter, then you go outside. And when they shift outside, then you come back inside. So that's the kind of football that has ideas, that knows how to open teams up. I think we had still a lot of those good moments in the final part of it. Yeah, not always. When you late in the game, a ball got played in. Maybe it's Christian and Diego's on the run, and a little pass gets slipped with the outside of his right foot and doesn't quite make it. Or Diego has a good chance, but the angle's tight. Or Carlos has a good chance, but the angle's tight. Those are moments of still, with everybody packed in and stuff. Those are moments of good football. Early in the game, when they're trying to invite some passes in the middle and squeeze it. Yes, we lost a few balls. But I'll tell you what, I think we did a good job tonight when we did lose balls of reacting really well. So it wasn't like we lost balls that were turning into big chances. You know, as I said, you know, the first goal, I mean, we're up the field, the ball turns over, Jordan goes right after the ball. That's a very soft foul. So call it. You know, our guys are kind of waving their arms, and now, you know, they get up the field into the corner, and now, look, it's a cross literally from the touchline. Right? So you can't give up goals on plays like that. And at that point, I still felt the urgency, the intensity, and the composure to keep playing was there. We get the goal off the set piece. It's great for Danilo because obviously he didn't do well on the header, but then he makes up for it with the goal. Start off, Dio has to come off at halftime, so now Christian comes on and scores an excellent goal. And then at that point, we just kind of give ourselves a chance. And, you know, like I said, we're in our box. They get in our box to play. I think it's in behind Steve, and the ball pops loose, and we just don't clear it well. And you know, look, it's a great shot. What are you going to say? But you know, I still look at all the little things, that if it's a little sharper, a little cleaner, a little better, the movements, all that. So yeah, that's the stuff that we would try to use to our advantage all the time.
Bob, when Dio came off, what was going on with him physically, and then just talk a little bit more about Christian and his performance when he came back in.
I think hamstring. Right? So I think the hamstring tightened up. So we made a decision immediately. We decided to go straight with Christian. There are other things we could have done. But I felt that in the first half, we were still getting Carlos in good spots. So using Carlos in that same role to me made sense. Christian came on. He's a different kind of player than Dio, but one of the things is that when he does get some chances, he's, I think, a really good finisher. So his finish is fantastic. You know, there's some other plays. You know, one of the things that I'm on Christian for at times is just that in certain situations, he has a knack for moving in the box, but when the games get better and faster, you can't do it at one speed. You got to change your speeds. You got to run at different angles. You got to run, you know, sometimes, I said to him one day, you know, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what kind of striker you are, right? You know, who's a good example? But I said, you know, if I think about Atletico Madrid, and think about Falcao and Diego Costa and Mandzukic, and I said, so Falcao, when it comes time to move, he doesn't just float and hope it comes to him. He makes different moves to go across, cut back. So we had some balls that I think if Christian moves in a way and changes his gears, maybe he can get to. You know, I said, you know, you're not Diego Costa. He's got a nasty side, but maybe at some point you could have a nasty side too. And then Mandzukic just works his ass off for the team in all ways. So if you could be a little more of all three of those guys, so that's the work. He's a good kid. You know, whenever you come and join a team, halfway through a season, it's not easy. He got a good goal to put us to 2-1, and then obviously not able to add to it.
Go ahead on the end. We'll take 2 more questions.
Coach. First of all, congratulations on a fantastic season. You came into this arena first time bringing a fresh team in and trying to work it out and get ahead. Tonight was a very physical play. Two things. Do you think the delay of the game had any effect? And then half time, when you went into the half time, what was going through your head and the players, and what was the factor coming into the half time? And I'm sorry, the third thing, after the third goal, the last 15 minutes, we had many opportunities from right and left, and we didn't connect.
Yep.
Just what was going through your head on those three matters?
Let's see if I can do this. So at halftime, we're back to 1-1. I told the team that the response was good. I felt that we spoke immediately that Christian would come on for deal. We talked a little bit of still the understanding of certain movements when Latif comes inside, Steve getting a little higher sometimes, still trying to stretch them out from side to side. We talked still that in certain moments as Benny got the ball deep, that Lee had the freedom to move and see if he could find some half spaces so that he was on the move a little bit going forward. At 3-2, yeah, you take more chances. We've had discussions about how late in games Walker can moves up the field a little more to give us one more option in the box if we have to put some crosses in. That's not our number one way of trying to create chances. We try to find the right passes, but that's just another part. What was the third part?
That was it. The last 15 minutes, we had many.
No, I think I covered that part.
Yes,
So,
you did.
no, the physical part. Look, I'll say one thing about the physical thing, all right? And you know me, I haven't talked about referees all year. I'm not going to talk about referees tonight. But the only thing that I still think has to be understood more is this. There are certain kind of fouls that are obvious yellow cards. You know, if a guy elbows somebody, they say, it's a yellow card, okay, and that kind of thing. The only thing for me that I don't think we managed to understand is this. When you get an attacking advantage with a pass or on the dribble, when every time you get an attacking advantage, somebody is grabbing you from behind, grabbing you around the neck, reaching around you, that is not normal defending, okay? So that is the kind of defending that teams do when they are trying to stay in a game. And those kind of plays where you have an attacking advantage, even if that advantage is 3 yards to get away from a guy to make the next pass, that is enough of an advantage that if the defender, or when I say defender, the opponent in that moment is reaching, grabbing. Look, so I don't think that our referees do a good enough job of understanding that. Okay, so I'll say that, and I will also say plain and simple, it's a second yellow on Herrera. So, end of story.
All right, we'll do one more here.
Coach, you guys were in the game the whole time. I just want to know your thoughts on the other players that were up top, and then what you guys could have done better closing the game out.
Yeah, the time after we go to 2-1, I mean, it's before 2-2 comes. I mean, there's a couple of moments where if the pass comes a little bit better or that kind of thing. You know, Diego was a threat all night, but in the final moments sometimes wasn't quite sharp enough. I certainly think we got the ball to Carlos in a lot of good spots. You know, Latif gives us good energy. At a certain point when he was tiring out, that was the decision to bring on Aaron Kovar. Just a straight change there. So, you know, when we go down, there are times when our outside backs get forward a little bit more. You know, we work all year to have an understanding that in some moments when your attackers are wide, your outside backs are tucked in, which helps when the ball turns loose in terms of transition. And then in other moments, your attackers all come inside. You play a little bit more narrow with your front three, and then you look for your outside backs to push and get into the attack. So I saw all those things happen. I didn't see us produce a play on that.
All right, very last one here. We got Walker Zimmerman right here.
Coach, obviously the supporters have been a big source of strength for your team all season and at various points tonight, but at the end it got a little ugly there. Can you just comment on the atmosphere tonight?
Look, the atmosphere in here every night is awesome. Loud, they sing from the beginning to the end. We have the best situation in the league. That being said, from the beginning in our club, we've been very strong with what good support is all about. Okay. There was a really good discussion immediately after the first game when maybe a chant happened and that got taken care of immediately. Okay, and that was finished for the rest of the year. And that was a great sign of the connection between the club and the supporters. Tonight, some of that we don't need. And now we just have to make sure moving forward that they know that we love them, that we will play for them, we will give our hearts to them, they will give their hearts to us, that we have to make sure that it doesn't cross the line in a way that, to this woman's question, causes a delay in the game after you've scored and stuff like that. So that's just, I have every bit of confidence with the great connection that exists between the club and the supporters that will get taken care of.
All right, thanks you guys.